My name is Brooklyn Griffin, and this is my informative speech, and here are my 5.5 audience members. Have you ever heard of the controversial topic of immunizations? For your kids, it's a big topic because you have an appointment and schedules that they want you to get certain immunizations so they can go to school, so they can be out in the world and be safe, maybe. Today I'm informing you of the positives and the negatives of immunizations, and I have done extensive research on immunizations which qualifies me to speak to you about it. I will talk to you about the expenses you could face if you choose not to vaccine, to inform you of how immunizations protect future generations, the risk for people if you choose not to vaccinate yourself or your children, and the relation to autism with vaccinations. Vaccinations are important to protect future generations, but also protect the chances of a huge outbreak. According to the Center of Disease and Control, some diseases are prevented by vaccines, like whooping cough remains common in the United States. On the other hand, other diseases no longer exist because people have chosen to vaccinate. This shows that vaccinations have been given in the past are no longer needed for people to vaccinate because they no longer exist. The Center for Disease and Control also states that if we stop vaccinating even the few people that do get vaccinations, that a huge outbreak could happen. The second pro is vaccine preventable diseases can cost a high amount if you are to get them. The flu is an example of a vaccine preventable disease, and according to the Families Fighting Flu website, the flu and its complications lead to more than 20,000 hospital stays per year and tens of thousands of deaths. Without insurance, or even with insurance, a hospital stay could cost thousands of dollars for you. Pertussis is another disease that you are vaccinated for, and according to the cost of treating vaccines, it costs $20 to $70 for a dose of the pertussis vaccine. If you have a hospital stay, it could cost between $4,300 and $5,500. And this does not include the medications that you would have to buy after you got out of the hospital. Choosing not to immunize your children or your children could cause harm to yourself and to others. This also increases the risk for potential outbreak. Not immunizing your children or yourself could cause harm to others. Children are more susceptible to disease because of low immune systems, and they're also at school with other children who could not be vaccinated. There are thousands of children each year that are hospitalized from diseases that could be prevented by vaccines. About 20,000 of those hospitalized with the flu are children under the age of 5 years old. That's more than 4 children per hour during the flu season, October to April, and that's according to the Families Fighting Flu as well. Unvaccinated people have to take proper precautions. They need to, if they're going in with the flu or think they have the flu, they need to make sure they inform the medical staff that they have not vaccinated, and that way they can protect themselves and protect other people. They will, put you or your child in an isolated area that will not harm others. Scientists have done some tests that could possibly link autism to certain vaccinations that are given when you're a child. The scientific community believe that immunizations are possibly linked to autism. And in 2008, an article written by Time Magazine informs us about Hannah Pauling. And Hannah Pauling was awarded a huge amount of money for the vaccines that she was given because her family and some science research has linked her autism to this particular vaccines. Time magazine wrote, "There's no denying that the court's decision to award damages to the Poling family puts a question mark in what had been an unqualified defense of vaccine safety with regard to autism. If Hannah Poling had an underlying condition that made her vulnerable to being harmed by vaccines, it stands to reason that other children might also have such vulnerabilities." The measles, mumps, and rubella is one of the vaccines that are being questioned because they are live virus vaccines, and they also contain thimerosal. It's a mercury-based compound that is used in vaccines to preserve vaccines, and they think that the thimerosal is linked possibly to the autism, and that's from the Autism Reading Room. So in conclusion, by giving you unbiased information, this allows you all to choose whether you want to vaccine yourself or not vaccine yourself, and vaccine your children or not vaccine your children. By informing you of the expenses of vaccine-preventable diseases, explaining to you how immunizations help protect future generations, telling you how you could harm others if you choose not to vaccinate, and how autism could be linked to vaccines. I hope you understand the importance between the pros and the cons, and can now make a educated decision between vaccinating and not vaccinating. And what do you think of vaccines? Thank you.